You know, first-person shooters isn't exactly one of my favourite genres in the video game industry. Mainly because over the years I feel it's been done to death over and over again, like Call of Duty and Halo and all sorts of games like that. Only because they've released games like this every year and no one really gives a shit about anything else. But, thanks to Resident Evil 7, I kinda changed my mind about the whole thing, where it was just not all about shooting everything left, right and centre, but more about the game taking advantage of the atmosphere and its setting. However, a game series that really kick-started the survival horror FPS genre, Doom, released on home computers in 1993, developed by id Software, and it was one of the most recognisable video game franchises of all time. Now, I know the series only based on the fact it was released on every single console you can think of, not to mention the most out-of-place things like a cashier register and an actual chainsaw. Crazy, isn't it? Though the Doom series has been on my mind for a while, but I've got Sonic and Mario on my mind, but one day I will. However, I was going to celebrate the release of the latest game, Doom the Dark Ages, through playing Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. This is the third Doom game released in recent times, but this time being a prequel that takes place before the 2016 game, to see what many people refer to as Doom Guy, or this series of Doom games like the Slayer or the Doom Slayer, has been doing while battling demons in this sci-fi middle-aged setting. When this first announced, I was stoked from the start, despite having no knowledge of the series, so I did end up purchasing every Doom game there is, which I did end up playing a little bit of the original game and I didn't really go back to it. So then I did end up playing Doom 2016 game on my Twitch channel, which I didn't really ended up beating. But enough mumbling, let's take a look at Doom, the Dark Ages. Is it as good as the previous games? Is it worth buying? Well, it should be obvious at this point. Yes. This is definitely one of my favourite FPSs I've ever played, with not only fun combat mechanics but also finding new secrets and new gimmicks that this game offers. Now this is the point where I'll go more in depth into the game, so I'm going to give you a big spoiler warning, despite this game being like a couple of months out from now, so despite this game being recent, but I'm going to spoil the shit out of this, and if you don't want to be spoiled, just click off right now or go and play the game yourself or watch it at your own risk, so you have been warned. So we all good? Let's take a look at Doom the Dark Ages for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and PC. Long ago, before Hell's invasion on Mars and Earth, the Knight Sentinels of Argent Denor, ruled by King Novik, and their allies, the Makers, ruled by Creed Maker, are at war with the forces of Hell led by Prince Azraq, who is after a Heart of Argent that can give anyone the power of a god, which is of course his bad news. However, he cannot just get it willingly, as he would not attempt a one-on-one combat with the Slayer, as he is in the Maker's hands and set down to the surface when needed. The Slayer has come in sort of mind control device on his chest to keep him from free will, and so that Creed can protect himself. Which I'd like to think is the Gungan and Naboo relationship from Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Though it isn't that they're on bad terms, as the Makers deliver the Slayer as long as they benefit the Creeds and his people's safety. Prince Azraq, along with his witch, encountered the king as he thought the Heart of Argent was inside this locker, but it turns out to be empty. Desperate for an answer, as the Slayer stops him for now in his mech, it turns out that the Heart of Argent is inside Commander Thera, as she has no idea how to control it. So King Novik put trust in Thera to keep the Heart of Argent safe, as he wouldn't trust anyone else. As Creed then informs the prince of what they've been up to and see the opportunity to capture her alive, and so they did while they attack one of their main base. So the Slayer was sent awaken this Cthulhu type creature called the Old One to be sent to this homeworld, the city of Raul, or however the hell you pronounce it, where Thera is captured. Slayer manages to find Thera not in a conscious state. Then after touching her, and she finds out that he has been overwhelmed by her powers, As Prince Azric appears and discovered being betrayed by Bishop Creed, Azric explains that not only is she holding the power of the heart, but she is also houses a soul of a wraith, and so Azric has to possess the power by the witch performing a ritual to separate the power from Thera's body. By the way, does anyone see the helmetless Doom guy as Chris Redfield, right? Anyway, Creed suggested that they should kill the Slayer, but Azric suggested something more permanent, by imprisoning him guarded by the 3 Old Ones for eternity. So after forcing to take the tether off and forces the 3 Cthulhus to lose control of the platform under his feet, causing him to fall into the giant acid pool, then after that we were in another realm and it turns out that we are now a zombie, and it appears to be he is in an undead world, as the Slayer has to find a way out while Prince Azark is starting to take over Argent Denor. So the Slayer found a way out of the realm and then resurrected from the dead thanks to the ritual set up by the Sentinel soldiers. So then we took care of the remaining demons invading, and then take care of Bishop Creed, which kinda gets what he deserves really. After triple cross everybody's in this case, so fuck him! So after that we turn up into another battlefield for another epic battle against the Old One and the King's mech. Which is an awesome fight, especially when all the attacks are thrown at you and use laser attacks that the King kept to himself, the greedy fucker. That's mine. Anyway, after that we have an encounter with Azark with all of his powers. Then of course we beat the shit out of him. Then the Slayer rips the locket out of his chest and have his powers taken away. This manages to free Thera out of her prison on the ship. But Azark manages to escape back to hell as the fortress explodes. So then the King places the locket back to Thera and brings her back to reality. So then the soldiers, including Thera and the Slayer, are heading into hell to end the battle once and for all. So the Slayer has the final encounter with Azark and his witch henchman, or henchwoman, or bitch demon. But regardless, they're taken care of, slicing the witch in half with his shield saw, and left Azark crippling on the floor while the Slayer takes his head off and shows the demons that their leader is dead.
Behold! The head of your precious queen, Furiosa! I alone control her. You come for me! You come for her.
So peace is finally restored, well, at least for now. Argent Denor is at peace, and the Slayer stole the Maker's fleet and remains in hell to kill all the demons till there's nothing left, as he always does best. And that's the end of Doom the Dark Ages. So overall, nothing complicated. It's about as straightforward as you can get. Since story-wise, when it comes to Doom games, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But I can't deny the cool and intense action this game offers. The characters was only secondary to me. Again, for the context of the Doom series, it doesn't really matter. But I would like a little more out of them. The only one that I grown to is Thera, as she has the authority to help protect the people of Argent Denor, and I like that about her. As for the villains, I find pretty forgettable. Prince Azric come across as a little bitch to me. He has strategies to avoid confrontation with the Slayer to get to the heart of the Argent, but he never really attempts to fight him until the end of the game. Even when he did gain strength from the heart of Argent, he is still no match for him. I mean, he has a really striking presence whenever he's on screen. The design of him is cool, but the overall result is pretty disappointing. Now the Slayer, or Doom guy as I should say, now I love every moment that he's on screen, whether he's shooting demons or what piques his curiosity. I just wish that they could have done a bit more out of him, like how he reacts to things and have a bit more personality. I mean, I get it that it makes him more scarier this way, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything else. Hell, my favourite part is when he was about to board the ship and an undead world and he was asked to pay the toll.
Payment required.
Now the cinematography and cutscenes looks amazing with its shots and the camera angles. Kind of reminds me of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, thinking about it. Even the motion capture of the characters looked really good, and the voice acting was actually pretty good. Now I don't think everyone gives a shit about Doom for the story. You just want to get your guns and weapons of choice and killing the shit out of demons, so why not waste any more time and look at the game itself? Now if you know your first person shooters, then you should know what you're getting yourself into. You get your guns and start shooting demons till they stay down and progress through the area. Though it's not all about all guns blazing, of course, there is also a few secrets and a few puzzles to solve that gives you great rewards finding gold, rubies and wieldstones. They're for purchasing upgrades by finding these shrines for your weapons, your shield and your Slayer's melee attacks. The rubies and wieldstones are mainly for weapons that are about to be maxed, and plus these are a little rare to find and add a bit more challenge to collect. Like killing more aggressive enemies and by destroying these wolf statues that are stationed in out of place locations so they were never too far away from the wieldstones being held. You can also get upgrade from Slayer's health, armor and ammunition by taking out the demon leader carrying an upgrade. You first have to take down the amount of big demons before taking down the leader's defense and then take it out. Whilst I'm on the subject of combat, it's really fun. I'm sure like previous games you've been given a lot of guns to choose from as you start with the standard shotgun, but you get more weapons as you go along when they do have their own unique ways. Most of these guns I use more than others, but I do get a few kicks out of these when I get the opportunity. You also can get a second variation of the weapon you already have, like the classic super shotgun, which is one of the best guns in the game. Especially against strongest enemies when you have to get up close and it drains their health like it's nothing else. The Shredder, which is a machine gun of sort, but I don't really use it often. The second weapon, on the other hand, the Impaler, is a fantastic sniper weapon to use. It can take down enemies with a well-aimed headshot, and once you get the upgrade, you can aim everything in bullet time, so you can then be accurate with your aim and kill these demons fast. The Accelerator I don't think is anything special in my opinion. It's useful for draining demons with armor and can take out shields, but at the same time, I hadn't really upgraded this thing and see that it was any good or not. But the secondary weapon, the Cycler, is my weapon of choice throughout the game, as it's a more powerful accelerator. Even upgrading it makes this very useful and it can electrify nearby enemies you are currently killing. And I was also never really in danger of draining ammunition for these. Maybe on high difficulty it might be a different story, so yeah. The Pulverizer is a sick looking gun as you shoot out tiny pieces of skull for ammunition and covers great ground around the battlefield. Kinda reminds me of the spray gun from Contra, only in 3D and more sadistic. But the Ravager on the other hand, I don't find that useful, because it was more useful to target single enemies, but it doesn't cover much ground like the Pulverizer. But my main issue is that I think the other weapons simply outclass it. The Chain Shot, yeah, I don't use it often. Like my opinion on the Ravager, I just think the other weapons do a better job. You have to charge up the shot to take out armor and shield from enemies, so yeah, this is not for me. The Grenade Launcher can be very useful for taking out crowd control or go gun happy and spray it about all over the place. The Rocket Launcher, you can't get a wild smile on your face, so it can be a great weapon to take out bigger and tougher enemies. Just be careful with its splash damage as you can easily die from it. But it doesn't get any better with not the classic BFG, but the BFC. I see what they're going for. Come on, you know what I'm thinking. This time in the form of a crossbow. So when firing, it can take out demons in the way. And this is probably the best gun in the game. The problem is that ammunition is very rare for this, so use this sparingly as you can. But man, I love this weapon so much. Of course, the biggest change for the game is the Slayer's new shield. Now, besides obviously protecting yourself, it can be used as a chainsaw of a sort, which again I rarely use. And you can also throw the thing like Captain America to cut through enemies. And even better, it can take out multiple demons with shields when about to break. You can also use it to break through context-sensitive walls to reveal hidden rooms for secret items to find. But my favourite part about this is that you can deflect enemy projectiles that's highlighted in green to fire back at them. And once you do that, it can deal great damage to them or stun them to give them a shower of bullets right back at them. Though this shield may sound game-breaking because of that, but it's not as it seems. Sometimes the battle can get pretty overwhelming, especially on high difficulty. As long as you have these life seagulls on you, when you die, you can get back up and where you left off. However, if you think the shield is too easy for you, you can just tone it up or down to suit your style. So I'm grateful for that. You can also have different style of runes that what benefits you while you use the shield. Like the demon projectiles ricochet cover more ground. My personal favourite is this little gun on your shoulder that shred their health even further. The last one stuns enemy, which isn't really my style personally. I'm all about killing demons. Now you don't only have guns or shield for offensive options, you also have melee attacks to be had. You have your usual fist attacks which you can combo to death. The flail that can do more damage and also come in handy to stun nearby enemies. And my personal favourite is the Dread Mace, a huge bat that can hit demons harder, and not only that, it can also affect nearby enemies, which is great for crowd control. The only gripe I have with this is his limited amount of durability, but this can be refilled very quickly once you're shooting and killing demons during combat. So it isn't much of a big deal. So you have different chapters to go through. Not only you go through different locations such as Argent de Nor, you also go through a city of Roll, as I mentioned earlier, and also Hell, which is awesome. Each chapter also offers different level design of how you go about. Besides having the usual going through a linear paths and gun down demons, there's also a sandbox area where you need to take down enemy territory and demon portals to save Argent de Nor. These levels are also great for finding secret areas and different challenges to collect those golden gems. Also, what the game adds is the giant mech and riding the dragon. Now the mech is awesome, kinda like playing a giant rock'em sock'em robots, except you'll fight giant demons. You have the same 1, 2, 3 combos, but you can build up a powerful attack by pressing one of the shoulder button to take them out fast. Late in the game, we can get a gun when it takes out these giant demons like it's nothing. So damn satisfying to use. The dragon I have mixed feelings on. It's more of getting used to the controls of this. The flying controls are not too bad, you can change the flying controls if you want to. These sequences feel like they need a bit of work. Like it doesn't seem to me that it was properly tested, as it seems to want to have the same feeling as the main game by exploring the area for secrets. I don't know if it's just me, but it just doesn't feel right. But other than that, the combat is fun, and also chasing this thing through the air can be frustrating when it gets away, just as you're so close to destroying it.
Oh, come on!
This game looks amazing. They really nailed down the tone in the atmosphere it wants to accomplish, and feel it succeeded in that. The soundtrack is great whenever combat is involved with its heavy metal rock in tone, and I liked it. So all in all, of what I played, this is a great game. I couldn't wait to see what else I have to look forward to, what the Doom series offers, and I might even consider looking back to the older games that I've got a full understanding. So even from someone that never played the Doom games, or hell, even the last 2 games can easily jump into this, so this game definitely gets a high recommendation from me. Now that I'm done with dealing with demons, it's time for me to head back to the world of the dinosaurs with helping with certain Italian plumber to get back into. So, with all that said, if you like the video, hit subscribe button, leave a comment on what you think about the game, and share this video to your friends, family, cousins, your pets, animals, your nearby demons. So with all that said, hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you in a bit.